find out.
If you are buying nitros for Discord, about to buy it. I tell you that. I don't know. I don't know what you talking about. That about to buy it. You don't get pretty soon. Man. I don't get right after the show.
Right after these messages.
Yeah, facts.
Alright. Test. Everybody can hear on the live. Check this mic
Testing one, two,
now.
three.
Yeah, okay. Coming through clear.
Parang ching ching. How everybody doing?
Okay.
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. You know what I'm saying? Lock into the live.
Let me share it up on my stuff then.
See you, man. Yeah, me ain't gonna lie. Music to go hard.
A little
Yeah.
suave, a little suave, a
You're
little
doing the
suave.
damn thing. You're doing the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I edited the title to include the MindHack Moments episode too.
Okay. Share it there. And on my page, my personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mic check, mic check.
Again up,
One, two,
again up.
1, 2.
Alright. Okay. Alright, about to show our faces. We live now.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing out here? Yeah.
Yeah, yo.
Alright.
We live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live.
Yes, sir. Pleasant. Good evening, everyone. It's your boy, MindHack Sack, in the building. And of course, join with me. It's my real partner, then. The handstand.
Oh no.
Yo. Now that KG. And the ones and twos. One, two,
Yo.
1, 2. Yes, sir. So, I want to open up by asking a question. This thing ain't even hypothetical.
Okay.
In our experience with just people, all right?
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
is the most common thing that you think people like to do, but are terrible at it?
The most common thing that I think people like to do but are terrible at it.
Yeah.
Um, I would say lie. People love to lie. They ain't good liars though. They ain't got it like your boy. I could wrap you around a story. They ain't got it like me. But yeah, no, I just joking. But yeah. People like to. I think people like to lie. Even myself, I just see myself like if I ever try, I just sometimes I feel like I too bold. Like why are you even lying to this person? Me scared of this person, and just tell them the truth.
Yeah. Nice.
um,
KG.
I think Repeat the question again.
What is the most common thing you think that people like to do but are collectively terrible at it? Like in general, people like to do this a lot. Like your average person might like to do this a lot,
Hmm.
but the average person also just ain't good at it.
What comes to mind? Giving advice. That's it. That's it, Dagmo.
Come here, Rob, my answer. You supposed to have your own answer, dog. But why you think that? Why you think that?
um, I mean, like you say, it's a common thing people do. As you always have some advice to give, but when you look at their situation, they ain't taking that too hard, like 100%. It's easy to say, but harder to do.
Mm, mm.
Exactly, dog. Dude. Like I spent a good while thinking about that, and like I couldn't come up with a different answer for me. All line is very good as well.
Oh
But
hell yeah.
like but like if I had $1 for every time I hear somebody say something like, oh, I gotta give good advice, I'd be a billionaire. Bill Gates ain't get nothing on me, you check. But like people ain't good at it, dog. People in general are
Yeah.
very terrible at giving advice, dog. Like when I think about advice in like our common way in which we will like give it,
Yeah.
I I either think of it as people just talking, my boy. People
Well,
just
well,
talking
wait, wait, wait,
and
wait,
just
wait. So you to give advice though.
yeah.
Do you feel
I mean,
like you're not good at it?
I feel like I'm pretty be okay with it.
Oh, my bad. I forget. We's the hot shit. We's the not shit. Got
Wait,
you,
what?
got you,
How
got
did we get here? How did we get
you.
here?
How did we get here? That's
Yeah.
a famous line. How did we get? No, no, I'm joking. But okay,
No,
cool. Go ahead. Proceed.
but like yeah, like I genuinely kind of break it down as like a lot of a lot of it is just like you sharing your thoughts about a particular situation,
Yeah.
which is like, oh, well, this is what I would do, or this is what you should do. And it's like based off of like your beliefs or things like that.
Hmm.
But like where I ultimately going with that there is that I think that a lot of people are terrible at giving advice because they prefer to spend more time talking than they do actually listening. And so, like, I get why the whole advice thing is really common. I think I get it. So,
Yeah.
like, I particularly think about like when somebody then like a certain problem, like if somebody going through it, or if somebody just like what are they trying to deal with something, or like flat out depressed. Like our primary instinct, I think, as like humans and like people who just care, is to like give solutions. When we have like some kind of issue or some kind of gap, it's
Hmm.
only natural that like we want to like fill it, you know.
Okay.
And so that's why like one of the things that I really want to kind of break down that I've been exploring are like these different levels of listening, dog. Because I think really and truly one of the best ways that you could help somebody,
Hmm.
like if they're going through it, ain't
Yeah.
even like giving advice, my boy. Is listening, dog.
Okay. So then pull us up, break us down. And how many different ways of listening does it have, and how to effectively use those ways of listening?
Well, I mean, I think listening is pretty much like you just sitting back and actually absorbing what a
Yeah.
man got say. Check, but like I I kind of experimenting with like three. three stages,
All
right?
right.
So like the first one is hearing. That's basically your auditory sense is just going to work. Like you basically
Mm,
able to like just take in or acknowledge that certain auditory information is being like present in the ether.
transpired. So your
Yeah,
awareness, the sound is there. You know what I'm saying? Like when your mother, like,
yeah,
you don't hear talking, you can hear something,
yeah, yeah.
but you ain't really picking it up. And
Exactly.
then you get up in the back of your
Yeah,
head.
Mm-hmm.
exactly, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
All
it.
and
right.
so
It
like
seem like it bring back some memories.
Hey, low, no. This ain't about me, dog. What you doing? What you dealing with, dog?
but it definitely bring back some memories for real. It definitely bring back some memories for sure.
Yeah.
So I
Okay, so we
definitely
on the
think a
first
lot of
one.
people could think.
First one is hearing. What's the next
Yeah.
one?
I think the next one I want to kind of I think I could kind of just call it like understanding, and I think
Okay.
like this is where a lot of people just like stop, all right? Because like it's basically you processing the information that has been entering your like auditory sphere.
Yeah.
Check, and I can circle back to that day in a minute, but like um the third stage is basically verifying. So hearing, understanding, verifying. And verifying is basically the act of paraphrasing
Okay.
or summarizing what you have heard the person say
Mm.
so that you can either check or refine what it is that you've heard because they'll let you know how accurate you are
Mm-hmm.
while also to letting them know that you hear them.
Got you.
Yeah. You know,
Got you.
or
So
like
you get, so you catch the palmy before the understanding phase. That's what you're telling me. You never got to the understanding phase. You were just hearing. So then you catch the smack in the back of your head from your mother because you wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And even in the case of like, let's say this ain't a case of you getting smacked from your mother. Let's say you're trying to help out a friend, but you hearing what he's saying and you ain't listening, which is that understanding part. That's why you kind of like fall into that understanding part. If I following where you coming correctly.
or like you like yeah you I think the understanding part is like the widest like process in like that whole thing because like I when we're in like regular discussion
Mm-hmm.
and you listening to somebody, right, you ain't actually just like listening or hearing them, man. When they enter your sphere,
Mm-hmm.
you begin to develop thought about what it is you hearing.
Yeah,
At the same time, you developing feelings about those thoughts.
yeah.
You could
Isn't
think
that?
on
But isn't
pictures.
that common? Isn't
Is
that
that what?
common?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What you were
Like,
saying, KJ?
No, you see, you could generate pictures in your mind, all kind of thing when the person
yeah,
Yeah,
talking. Yeah.
but that's a common thing. That's a natural human trait. So how like
absolutely.
But
so
some
how
people
like
like that's only like if you point all of that to the test, cause you probably wouldn't get a picture or image or think of anything like if like let's you say your mother was knocking you, you probably be
mm-hmm.
hearing just the noise, but you don't formulating the words to even think of those pictures or whatever. Or so there's to listen to understand and just there's listening like you just hearing a noise, but you ain't trying to figure out what it is, you ain't trying to resolve the issue.
No, I ain't trying to resolve no issue because if I listen to what she's saying and even a quarter of the way of what she's saying, she pissing me off. Ain't no more listening. I ain't trying to listen to nothing. So it's a disregard at this point.
But
And I
we,
try and let her
we okay. Don't put it in your mother case. This is to help
uh,
build intrapersonal. So we talking about,
intrapersonal
we
development.
talking about
I
intrapersonal.
about
So
to
it's
say, but
like,
so what you
yeah.
talking about? You somebody talking to me, pissing me off. I supposed to sit there and understand. Nah, nah, nah. But
This
okay,
is
okay,
good.
okay.
This
Of
is good.
course, that's great for you. Let's go. Let's
No,
go.
no, because like what you guys were literally just doing
Mm-hmm.
is a great part of like what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Because when we go in like in the understanding phase,
Mhm.
as I mentioned, you begin to develop thoughts about what it is that you are listening to, and then close behind, very close behind,
Yeah.
you begin to develop feelings about like those thoughts, and
Yeah.
that is what ultimately makes or breaks how well you continue listening, right?
Okay. So,
Yeah. And you even demonstrated that with like the thing when you were mentioning like, well, yeah, if she pissing me off, then
yeah.
me listening, you check.
Nah,
Yeah,
disregard. Disregard. Trust me,
yeah,
disregard. Trust me, Hanson ain't listening no more. You don't piss me off. But okay, for someone
All I gotta
that's
say is
like-minded like
wow
myself,
with a
I
lot of
listening to
W's.
somebody, they necessarily,
Wow.
let's say I give an advice. So let me put it in this case because I think this is exactly where you want to go. If I'm picking up what you're putting down. I listening to somebody, they talking about their situation, but the situation don't make sense from jump. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to listen through this person go through their whole venting stage and then try to aid this person and regurgitate the same nonsense that they were just telling me in order to be an active listener? Or is it something where I can intervene and try to create clarification or intervene and just tell the person like, hey yo, listen, I don't think you going the right way. Is that not listening or is that like talk to me? Break that down for your boy.
yeah. So you you mentioned like basically like if you are expected to kind of continue listening to what you might find to be bogus,
Yeah.
right? Like if I like supposed to just continue listening to this thing, or if I like how am I supposed to intervene?
Hmm.
And like ultimately that kind of like brings us to a pretty important like exercise that anybody could do, which
Hmm.
is to practice listening without judgment, to just absorb,
Hmm.
right? Because like like that is like a number one roadblock for pretty much anybody who
Okay.
is like listening, because like the whole point of this thing is to just showcase how much our own thoughts and feelings about our thoughts can get in the way, especially if we're not aware of what's happening right now. So something as simple as like you briefly going like, "What? It sounds like this man talking some real bullshit right now." But
Hmm.
let me let me lock back in. I realize that this is what's happening, but this is about this person.
Mm. Whole
You check.
shit. Whole shit. Nowadays, whole shit. But yeah, yeah. So okay. So all right, that makes sense. That's clear. Listening through the whole endeavor rather than interfering. No judgment. That's what you put out. That's the stage of understanding. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and so at what stage can I ask questions? Can I stop and say, hey, blase blase?
Yeah, yeah, you could ask questions pretty much throughout the whole thing, whether it's to help gain better clarity on something that you might not have legitimately understood, or even like after like you like paraphrase or verify or
Hmm.
anything with that of that sort.
Yeah.
You ask
Okay.
questions anytime.
All right. All right. All right. So then explain to me the last stage. Then the last stage is that regurgitate stage.
Yeah. So the reason why I say that one of the best things that you can do for somebody who might be like struggling with anything is that when we have challenges,
Hmm.
anybody having any kind of challenges, the challenge itself is not solely like physical or material or like cognitive or anything. A large chunk of it is emotional, right?
All
And
right.
there's a lot of things that are happening to us as that is transpiring,
Hmm.
right? Where we feel all these different kinds of emotions. And so the verifying portion comes in a wave of things, right? Because one of the key things that it delivers is the acknowledgement that you, as the listener, are hearing and understanding what they're saying and acknowledging that their concerns and feelings are real. In other words,
Gotcha.
this is validation,
Mm,
right? A lot of, I really want to like emphasize like the importance of that because a lot of us does kind of conflate validation as like something to be demonized or like, oh, they're just looking attention or like it, yeah, like basically like looking too much attention. But like validation is a very basic human need, especially when we are in like some kind of perceived deficit, right?
mm,
So by letting somebody know or showing somebody that you hear them, you acknowledge that their feelings are real by literally paraphrasing what it is that they're talking about and showing them that they've been heard helps to do several things for them. One of them,
mm.
again, as I keep mentioning, it lets them know that they're being heard. But
Yeah.
also, two, it you also pose in as a sort of reflective mirror because, like, when somebody when somebody might be going through something
Hmm.
from a cognitive standpoint, these are probably thoughts that they've just been holding in and trying to like hold back for like the longest while, and so like it just like spinning around in their head and
Yeah.
just kind of causing everything to get even more like inflamed and more um like just worse. And so
Yeah.
by being able to just like talk about it and help make sense of it, it helps to make it more concrete to make whatever it is that they're talking about like more deal withable because they're essentially like seeing it in front of them
Hmm.
because you are reflecting it like back at them, which allows them to make better sense of what they might be going through.
Okay. I think I grasp where you're coming from. I've seen you use that on me a few times, and it does work. Yeah, yeah, much. But yeah, I've seen I've seen you use that on me a few times, and it does work. It gives that moment of clarity, and So wait, where I find that very difficult, right, is sometimes I guess talking to people, I expect them to have a certain amount of tact to themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I don't
Tact,
expect
you say?
to tact, like
Oh,
some type of decorum.
decorum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of that if you must say. So it's almost like I don't want to be talking to you, and throughout the whole thing, I constantly like trying to like that whole validating. Also, that's a little like as you say could be demonized, and I guess in my mind it does get to a point where I'm like, yo, what, like why I have to constantly like um validate your feelings or what you saying if those are yours, why do I have to reassure you of that? That's something I could never really understand. If those are your feelings, your thoughts, your understanding, your word, your story, then why do I have to kind of like double down on your stuff? And then why, if I don't agree with what you're saying, how am I supposed to validate that if I don't agree with what you're saying?
Well, I guess one of the first things that I might ask is like, what what exactly might you be thinking of that like goes into like that work? Like, what do you like by you engaging and like paraphrasing and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
what exactly do you think might be like tedious or go wrong with that sort of activity? Because
Well,
what you're saying is probably what a lot of folks thinking
yeah.
on a
All
on a
six
regular
people
basis.
in
So
this, yeah, all six
that's a
people inside of this thing would us probably say, yeah, man, Hanson, what he's saying, no, Hanson, what he's saying, yeah, man. Answer that for us.
yeah.
Kim. But to answer your question, um, it's more of me making assumptions now. Because if I have to validate what you're saying or reflect what you're saying to you, to make sure that you hearing the bullshit you spewing to me, you know what I'm saying? That's me making an assumption that you even going to take the time to understand that, hey, yo, at this moment, you kind of telling me some bullshit, you know. And a lot of the times, depending on who you're talking to, of course, and the type of relationship you have with them, that does not go well. You might be like, hey, yo, so this is what you mean? And that person double down on it. And then now you stuck in a rut with this person passionately about something that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So how do you even traverse that now and continue to effectively listen and effectively give advice to somebody who's doubling down? And I'm pretty sure you've been there with me multiple times where I'm doubling down on something that just like that's totally ignorant, Johansson. But hey, I already there, you know? So how would you even effectively traverse that? And that's where I'm at with the whole. That's the amount of work. That's what it takes from me. It takes from me assuming that person's stance and then assuming that they would have the ability to reflect, and then they don't. What do I do?
Yeah. So definitely one of the things that I'm going to reference once again is exactly back to like the second stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the answer is very much hidden in what you were mentioning, like you actually holding the keys to your own question of assumption. Because one, you made mention of like the possibility of like this person saying a lot of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
What makes it bullshit exactly? Is it like something that's like objectively bullshit? Or is it something that probably don't jive too well with your personal values as created by your thoughts and your feelings about your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to primarily check in with your own self about what it is you thinking about this, what this person saying is a very important thing for you to do because our value system and like our thoughts and beliefs again is what can effectively kind of cut off that listening process, especially if it's like something that we might not fundamentally like agree with. And then the second thing is like, even though I said that a lot of people are terrible at giving advice and all of this different stuff, that doesn't mean that you can't engage in like direct like counter arguments to whatever is like going on,
Mm-hmm.
because the main thing is that the listening and like that getting across, like making sure that the person is well heard and well validated is the most important thing that anybody should be putting on top of any helping effort, because that at the very least again makes it known that the person is being heard. And if you truly like they're in a situation where like you saying this thing where like I don't really agree with what you point down, dog. Like this don't make any sense. You check,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
the fact that you already went through a process of clearly demonstrating that you have heard them and they feel more validated, they'll be a lot more willing to like engage in more dialogue or even change their mind if it's something that truly is like crazy. But
Mm.
like if that listening part and that validation part ain't there, then that is
Yeah.
exactly where we then the problem of like, you try and talk to somebody and then they don't even listen for like any 5 seconds. The instant something comes across their mind that they don't agree with or that they find is like jarring to them in any kind of way, that's
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of like the interruptions and a lot of like the dumping of whatever it is you think that come into play,
Mm.
and the listening process halts. You just spew in your mouth, and that person is in the same spot that they were, and you probably ain't even like point anything like valuable, or if it was valuable, it was lost on them because you essentially didn't meet them where they were at, and that's
Mm.
basically like what the whole listening process is about and why it's like such a valuable skill, my boy.
To the seven people inside of the chat, if you have any questions, always feel free to drop your questions. We watching, we aware, so talk to us. This is not just a discussion with just myself, Kefren, and KJ. Do drop your questions inside of the chat. Drop in a little hey, hello, so we could big you up as well if you're a first time viewer or if you're coming back for the second time, you know what I'm saying, to join us again. So, all right. So from where you left off is about meeting people where they at. So for the most part, there's the opportunity or there's the possibility that you have to come down to somebody's situation. Correct?
What might you mean by come down?
Ah, I guess that goes against what you're trying to say because that's also judgment. Down or up is judgment. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to level with that person. Is that a better term? Level. I would have to level with that person because that's a lot more non-judgmental. It's
No, and I
non-hierarchical.
was genuinely asking you what you meant, Like, I didn't think that you
Every time
yourself
you
meant any
ask,
judgment.
answer a question, this man to feel like you attacking
No,
him.
like
Yeah, the man.
this is me listen. This is me
the
actively
man,
listening to
the
you
man
and
trying
getting
to get.
clarification.
Dog,
Yeah,
listen,
but
when I talking to this man, and I love to talk to him. I love to talk to him because I don't get to talk to a lot of people that exercise my ability to use my brain, my ability to dialogue, and my ability to debate, in a healthy and at the same time aggressively challenging manner. So I love to talk to the dude, you know what I mean? So every time he pose a question to me, he let me know, you said something that I don't technically think that you thought about or you ain't use the right word choice. So to give me
That's
a
still not
moment.
true.
that's
I
your
just
form.
want to.
That's your theory that you put up in your head,
Yeah.
my boy. Like
That is
what?
my theory that I put up in my head, dog. But
Uh,
it for me, it's a good theory because it always allows me to do exactly like what a man pretty much telling the audience to do, which is kind of reflect that question back at the person so they could reflect on what they just said or they could reflect on what's being brought to the table. You know what I'm saying? So he allowed me to reflect on the fact that
see
all
where
right,
you go,
quickly.
and then we got to level up from
Yeah,
there.
like am I judging this person? If I say I have to stoop down to this person level, then am I judging them? Do I think that they're beneath me? Do I think that I'm higher than them? That's a judgment. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the early stages is no judgment. Am I correct? Which is
Yeah.
hard to do because it gets some real stupid people out here sometimes, dog. So I just had to say it, dog. Like I couldn't hold it in no more. It's very difficult to do. You have people that are belligerently incompetent and they're not always your friends. Like sometimes like you could run into somebody that's just randomly spewing their opinion and spewing their facts. Like a perfect platform is anything that have to do with politics. Anything that have to do with politics is almost the worst time to give advice and the worst time to listen, in my opinion, and the perfect time where you get to see people that totally are belligerently set in their ways and not open to information. I myself being a part of those people as well, because I'm just human and it's human nature for me to have biases and standpoints that may not always be beneficial. You know what I'm saying? To everybody, but it might just be beneficial to me. And if I deem it beneficial to me, then I stand on that topic. I stand on that point and I don't move. I don't pivot. You know what I'm saying? I don't pivot until nobody is looking. That's what I've realized about myself. Like I leave you talk, and we gonna go at it. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't about to pivot mid conversation. You ain't about to get that. I'll go back and do my reflecting, even if I know in the moment, Hanson, you wrong, this person have the facts and you wrong, Nah, dog, wrong and strong. I never wrong, dog. So I go ahead first into the situation, even though it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But you know, then there comes the reflecting later on and what's not. But like I was saying, to give advice to somebody in terms of politics, political stance, political thoughts, because I think that's by far the hardest thing to listen to, especially in the climate that we're in.
I
How
would
would you
agree.
traverse that? How would you traverse it though?
Hmm. Still employing like active listening, right? Like the key thing that can be driven home enough
Mm-hmm.
when looking at the primary obstacles to listening is being able to rein in your thoughts that probably stem from your beliefs about whatever, as
Okay.
well as your feelings about your thought that is forming. Like that is literally like the factory within the understanding phase. The information as it's getting like encoded, is it?
Digested
In,
or
yeah,
imported?
yeah. Like it's going through like the interpretation phase where you applying your thoughts about this thing and your feelings
Mm-hmm.
are essentially coming in reaction to those thoughts. And whatever the conclusion of that is, depending on how strong it is or how well you are able to regulate yourself, that is what prompts or drives things like the interruptions or like the style of how a conversation is going. And so like this is important for any kind of interpersonal situation. We've been primarily talking about like advice given, but like this
Mm-hmm.
is a key thing in order to navigate dialogue. And I agree with you with like the politics thing because like things like politics, religion, are
Mm,
among like the things that are most near and dear to people, which
yeah.
means they are the things that people are going to have the most sophisticated and like habitual set of beliefs and feelings around, that
Mm-hmm.
anybody like touching it is like you touching like a root of a tree. It's like
Mm,
it's very hard to separate critiques about the style or the thing that you might be thinking of from the person's sense of like individuality.
yeah.
And that's where the awareness of what it is that you might be thinking really helps in that situation, right? So like the more serious it might be for you,
Mm-hmm.
the more you definitely could benefit from employing a lot of like those techniques, like yeah, something as simple as even taking a time out, like hey, I need to take a minute because
Yeah.
a lot of like what you talking about right now
Mm-hmm.
ain't sitting right with me. And like you resolve the right to do that.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how, right? Because like if you do that, they're like, man, I'm gonna stop listening to you, man. You talking bullshit. Like that
Mm-hmm.
that is going to shut down any conversation. You know what I mean? But like really kind of taking the time with tact, like what you just mentioned, and more importantly, I think
Mm-hmm.
gentleness would help if you find that you are in like that extreme kind of situation. You know, definitely a good question to like explore more because like even for me, it would have been a while since I would have had to have done something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
like it's definitely something that we could stand to benefit from like doing, because when we don't, that's how we'd fall into things like the cutting the person off, inserting whatever it is that we gotta talk about to try
Mm-hmm.
to like defend against whatever that uncomfortable feeling with, which renders the entire conversation unproductive because the person in turn might do the same thing, and you guys are building on top of that, and that literal building
Mm-hmm.
is an argument.
Mm-hmm.
No information is being exchanged. Only
Mm,
only self-preservative functions are happening right now at the expense of the other person. It's
and
just
this
like
is
you protecting yourself, but what protects can also prevent that. And
mm,
you preventing important information for
mm,
you to for you to like have your idea about what a person trying to say
mm,
illuminated, and it happens every day. I don't know, somebody arguing.
preach.
You know what I
Mm,
mean?
That's my boy, Prime Kef right there. You just see it. They ain't even see that coming, huh? My boy start to get into the mm, mm. When you see them hand movements start going, that's my boy breaking it down for you. So I think with that being said, I think then it goes back to your first question that start this whole conversation. It's almost like there are no people that can give good advice because the main component from what I'm running into, and I'm pretty sure other people is running into, and I'm pretty sure KJ can attest, is how do you detach yourself? How do you detach who you are, your views, your values, and how do you actively give somebody information that has no attachment to you or have no vetting by you or have no understanding by you, like almost like it's so unbiased that it could be misleading because you wouldn't do it. So why would you validate somebody else to do it? That's how I feel. Like if I detach myself from the advice, because I advise people based on what I would do.
Well, for one thing, I think there are some people that could give some good advice.
You trying to
Definitely.
say
I
you
just
trying to say
think
you? Trying to say
no,
you?
no. Run with this man,
I
KJ.
listen, like,
Just hey.
Run with this guy, dog.
I have to dog. I have to go at my dog. I have to. Iron sharpen iron, man. I have to go at my dog. He's a man. He's a yeah. Me sometimes you got your rocks on the throne. You know what I'm saying? He's the man. I gotta go at my dog, man. But go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
but but like the going back to like the thing again, like remember like nobody said that you can like disagree with like a premise that somebody is like taking.
Hmm.
The act of listening and like validating them has nothing to do with engaging with like the validity of their information itself, of whether it's like fact or fiction. It's literally just allowing them to know that their experiences, which have nothing to do with fact or fiction,
Hmm.
are real and being acknowledged, and that I see you.
Okay.
You check it out. And so like that's something that anybody has the capacity to do. And so like the ultimate answer to your question is that when it comes to that particular activity, the activity of quelling your thoughts and feelings around what it is that the person is saying at that moment, while being able to paraphrase or summarize what they have said back to them,
Hmm.
that is like the act of listening and validating, and you do that by practicing. You do it by practicing.
So where and how can you practice? Like, okay, name a few
Anytime you have a
relationships.
conversation with somebody, my boy, any conversation you
Dude,
you have with somebody,
listen
dog.
to me. Listen to me. That is so stressful that you can imagine you going around trying to constantly like effectively listen to everybody, my boy. Like humanly, I don't think that's possible. I can't effectively listen to every. Imagine trying to effectively listen to a 2-year old, my boy.
So what I heard you just say is you're articulating how stressful the act of like listening to any and everybody might be. And
Constantly, yeah,
it yeah, and then you ended it by even talking about like trying to do that with a 2-year-old.
yeah, yeah. Well, you try ask me
what,
back the question so I could think about it.
Brother,
No,
I
what,
just did an exercise
what I
with
cooking so?
you on that, dog.
I can't
I
find
just do
it.
it in real time, dog.
I can't find
the
the cooking
man,
so.
the man fooled me off. Dread. The man fool. I swear we having a. I ain't know you out there get me like a test puppet,
Nobody is
boy.
fooling you, Hansi. I literally just took the opportunity to show you how quick it can be. I ain't telling you to go and do this thing to every single conversation, Dad. But if
Mm-hmm.
you have that formula, then
Mm-hmm.
you could say something as simple as, let me try and paraphrase somebody, or let me try and paraphrase two people today.
Dog. That's why you name yourself. That's why you name MindHack, my boy. Because who the walk around saying,
Let me paraphrase somebody today. Yo.
and
Yeah.
then who the walk around like today? I gonna paraphrase two people, my boy. I go go hey, I mind hack two people. Yeah, I'm saying like dog, man. Like I don't know. It makes sense, and it's from a genuine. It's genuine methods, and if applied correctly, can really be effective. Because like obviously, I had no idea. I wouldn't even pretend. I don't think that was pretending at all. I had no idea you was just doing it to me. Which frustrated me a little bit. But
Yeah, my
no, I'm saying,
boys, come forward.
but I
Okay.
had no idea. I had no idea you were just re-asking me the same thing, and that's how your methods go. So okay, you re-ask the person. Okay, you paraphrase, then that's where it's at. So coin the phrase, careful dog, mind hack the man. Say paraphrase.
Let's see
That's
what
how
the
you
book do.
effectively. That's a part of effectively listening. Paraphrase to individuals. So you paraphrase to an individual, and just as I did, I say, yeah, that's what I said. Where do you go from there?
Yeah,
To
but
continue the conversation. If it wasn't for like that, for like the time to highlight the very example,
Mm-hmm.
then I might have asked you like more clarifying like questions, like like what else might you feel about that, or you might have naturally continued the conversation. Because what we not, I'm sure that part of why the heck frustrates you is because it was essentially you being the subject of the example,
Oh
right?
hell yeah,
Yeah, but if we were not in that situation, like if me and you were chopping it up outside of this live,
yeah.
even if you might not have still like recognized that, somewhere in your subconscious, you would feel more relieved that you know that not only am I listening to you, but I listening to you, my boy. You check,
I
I hate, I am locked in with what you're
understanding what
talking
you're
about.
saying.
Yeah.
That's
If
how
I
you
had instead
gotcha.
chosen to counter argument you in that moment or something like, well, you're not talking to a 2 year old ain't even that thing, it would have been like you trying to like
Yeah,
talk out your thing and then you just hit a wall. But
yeah,
instead,
no.
I
Yeah.
went side by side with you and let you know that I did right there with you. You
Walking
check.
a
So
horse to the
I
water.
ain't yeah, I ain't abrupt your force, dog. I did right there with you. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then after, because like that's all, that's like the whole thing, like you could literally kind of look at it with that same force thing, because after a while, when you feel relieved, that
Mm-hmm.
force isn't as forceful,
Yeah.
because you've been able to like get out a lot of like the frustrations or things that you may be talking about within that pocket, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes you more open to particular turning points, whether it's turning points facilitated by me asking you clarifying questions or me directly challenging an idea that you had. But if I decided to do that at Ollie,
Mm-hmm.
it would have just,
okay,
Yeah,
so
nah,
you
let
know,
me.
and it wouldn't,
I gotta tell you, you
it
have
wouldn't
no
have,
idea,
it
my
wouldn't have
boy.
pan out. Yeah, it wouldn't have went well. So that's basically where all of this here to like come in, where
Mm-hmm.
you verifying listening by paraphrasing, so that not only can you, like, you once you engage in like paraphrasing, my boy, only one of like two things can happen there. Either them man tell you, yeah man, you got it, you accurate, and they feel more relieved subconsciously um from you listening.
Articulating or
Yeah.
understanding. Mm-hmm.
Or they correct you, and then you still rinse and repeat until you reach to where you going.
Until you reach side by side with them. Until
Yeah,
you are
exactly.
next to the individual rather than in front or behind. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, you check.
So in much more difficult relations or much more difficult um opportunities to listen or to give advice. Uh, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to this, but in relationships with women who don't necessarily want your advice, they just want your ear. Help the man them out, please.
Everything I just said.
Ah,
I don't.
man.
There's nothing new that I can like add in, like I know that, like, we want all of these like tools and different
Hmm.
techniques for different stuff, but like literally practicing what I've already just mentioned. You checking in with your thoughts, because it's
Hmm.
all a cycle. Like
Mhm.
your behaviors, thoughts, and emotions are interconnected, and they participate and go in a sort of cycle. So like when going through somebody mind,
Yeah.
they listening in, taking information. They thinking about what it is that they're hearing. They
Mhm.
have certain feelings about it. And then it goes to the behavior. They cut in. They're like, well, why didn't you do this? Or why did this here? And all of that stuff. That's
Mhm.
literally the whole thing about like screw all this, a whole lot of long talk and stuff. Let me get to the solution. It's
Got you.
about halting that process. When you're in the understanding phase and you take notice of the fact that, oh, what? This person just said something that me really thinking with.
Mhm.
Take notice of that. Practice taking notice of that and the feelings that come with it. Like, man, you're talking a bunch of bullshit in the bag and continue listening. And then when you reach to the verifying part, that is where you put it to the test, where you paraphrase or
Paraphrase.
summarize or reflectively talk in whatever it is that they're talking about
Mhm.
to like again continue like that that process like that this process is basically what anybody is talking about when they're saying like they want to air, when they're saying they want to air. This is essentially the greatest version of that that you can provide. And the
Mhm.
great thing about it is when you actually do it, man, them you could still feed in whatever feedback or advice you care to like give or whatever.
Mhm.
But that part has to be established, and it has to be established well.
Mm. So
Emphasis on the
practice.
well.
Emphasis
Practice
on the
that.
well. Practice paraphrasing. Practice listening, regurgitating the same information being received.
And practice coming into awareness of when you feel that urge to like cut in or give advice or do something prematurely. Take notice, like, what? Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of right now, but and cool out and continue listening and paraphrase and verify when you reach to that certain point, and then continue the conversation naturally, whether it's like asking clarifying questions or reflective communicating to like enable them to continue talking about it. That's part of the whole air thing, dog.
That's a lot
Yeah,
of
you
that's a
had me.
lot
You
of
had
that's a
me.
lot of
You had me
that's
there
a
for
lot
a second, man.
of
Yeah, yeah. You had me there. You had me
I
at the
gonna
first
definitely
couple
need
steps.
to be a little mentally on that level to
Well,
especially
right now I'll have thoughts, right?
Hmm.
I'll them into awareness, like what? Having some thoughts about this thing, and I even said some of them like out loud.
Yeah, man.
That's a
For
part
sure.
of the process. Everything is a start, a small step that they ain't
Mm.
gonna happen tonight.
Yeah.
That
No.
they ain't even gonna happen
tomorrow.
next week.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Okay?
you got. Check
But
me
if you
2025.
well,
2017.
that's like next month or so. So we gonna work
No,
with
no,
it.
no, no.
But
Yeah,
like
you said
it's
2025.
all
Me say
about
yeah, I hold you accountable. Hey, back it down.
yeah,
Wait, no,
it's
no, no,
all
no, no.
about
That wasn't on
increments,
the
dog.
record.
That
Increments,
was on the record, didn't it? Boom.
That's why.
increments, increments, guys. That's the iteration,
Hmm.
step by step. That's the name of the game, dog. 'Cause, like we the especially when it comes to things we don't fundamentally like.
Hmm.
When it comes to trying to improve it, we'd definitely try to do like a all or nothing kind of approach. We don't ever
Yeah.
think about the appreciation of like increments, so like that's its own thing to lock into and really take notice of, because all progression takes place in the same way for humans,
Hmm.
step by step. The only difference really lies in how much we like the thing, because like
This goes back to
any kind of thing you trying to do and you don't like it, it's like, oh well, I try.
Yeah.
But you ain't actually like trying it, boy. Like you just
hmm
get one shot, and because you ain't rocking with it, you just like, oh yeah, I give it a shot. No, you didn't.
Hmm.
No, you didn't.
I guess
Like
it's
so,
also like a area for exercise, similar to a muscle.
Yes,
uh, area to
very much so.
exercise and keep trying your best to walk it in. And just
Assist that part on the wheel. Back to the
yeah,
wheel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It could fit on the wheel too from the last episode. Mm. We got Wheel of
Yep,
Life, right?
yep.
Is
Wheel of
there?
life.
Actually, I took the Wheel of Life a little bit literal. That last episode really started
Okay,
to implement it into my current state of life in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make sure that
okay.
I am. And for the most part, what it was is where I had the misunderstanding of the way how the wheel should work, where it's not like a comparing to the wall, it's more like a comparing to your satisfaction.
Yeah, your personal satisfaction.
Yeah, but yeah, just touch that was last episode. It was a Wheel of Life. We were touching on your satisfaction in different areas, whether it may be love, spirituality, work, career, family, you know, wife, all those things, and kind of making sure that you grade yourself based on how you feel about it, not how anybody else feels, no matter, even if they're affected by it, it's more like how you feel about it. And then maybe you could reflect about how other people feel about it, but it's mainly about how you feel. Where's your satisfaction with your career? Where's your satisfaction with your work? Where's your satisfaction with your life? And if you want to go check that out, definitely go back and check it out. Definitely jump on the Mind Hack page, go through the videos, you'll see it there. Let's continue to move forward with this discussion on listening and giving advice. Um, so we're at the point where we have the tools. You know what I'm saying? We had the hearing, understanding, verifying. In between that, the most effective tool to use is to paraphrase, to make sure you regurgitate, go side by side with the individual, guide them, not guide them, but actually take the journey with them to make sure that you understanding what the information is and what the information isn't, because it's a main factor in the results of you actually aiding that person towards advice. Validifying or validating an individual is not necessarily in what I like to deem it as aiming and abetting. When you fucking telling somebody that they right for doing some dumb shit, it's not aiding and abetting.
Yeah, it's
Valid.
not agreeing with them. Yeah,
No, it's not agreeing with them. Validating them is paraphrasing to them that I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Is this what you're saying? I'm validifying the information that's being said, not your emotions necessarily and a manner, unless that's the information I have to validify or validate. Validify shouldn't be the term. Validate. So that's where we're at. That's the information. That's the tools, guys. Those tools from obviously you see he implement those shit to people on a daily basis. He walks around the world like an evil villain with his pinky right here, you know? So, but like I said, always and forever, the information and the man to divulge and the information that you to give is always top notch. It's always 10 out of 10, like I say. Just dialoguing with you alone can expand somebody's knowledge on any topic, even topics that you yourself don't understand. And I realized that in a conversation that you had with my wife about politics, and you had a lot of questions, you know, and I was able to see how you effectively listen and how you effectively um, join the journey of that person to really see what information they're giving, what information they're regurgitating, and where their stance is. And also just not even it's not even for advice at the same time too. It's just to understand people. So you know where to take the conversation further. You know how much more you could go and how much more you can't go. Like you say, when it's time to call time out and when it's time to check out and just be like, hey, listen, this you know, I've been following you on this journey for a while and we've been through some fire, lava, and water with sharks. I think I want to take a pause on this one because I think the next place we're gonna end up is hell, and I don't think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna all die, and I don't think we're gonna survive. So I'll take a little checkpoint right here. But yeah,
All I
nah,
gotta say is wow.
All
with a
great
lot of
points. I
W's.
think my last one
Wow.
and my final question is always have to do with business. Business wise, how do you effectively use that in the business place? And I don't want to hear, oh, everything I already said. So I'm going to draw a perfect example or example, if not perfect. I'm going to draw an example since the six people in the chat want to be crickets and don't want to ask any questions. I watching
But
and
nobody ain't post nothing so far.
nah, I think they're really sucking in the information this time. We ain't had a
No, they
lot of dead
actively
time.
listening.
They're actively listening. They're actually, what I'm saying? But we don't have a lot of dead time like we had on the last one. We fixed all our kinks, so they're actively listening now. But let's say you have a boss. The boss don't like to repeat themselves. That's clear, and I think a lot of people could say that they've been in this situation. You have a boss. The boss don't like to repeat themselves, so they don't like to say things more than once. Um, but they give information sometimes, and they give it so quickly, and sometimes they might give wrong information, and it might be misleading. How do you actively listen, and then how do you actively traverse that situation?
Well, with the act of like paraphrasing, of course, provided that like everything that you like mentioning, it wouldn't always come across to the other person as like them having to like repeat themselves so much more than like refining what they've said if need be. Because
Hmm.
like repeating is like you like saying it like pretty much almost all of this stuff over and over again. But like that probably ain't like the case. And then a major reason a lot of people don't like repeating themselves is because a lot of people don't like to really like listen, and so it expends a lot of extra effort. But like if you paraphrasing and like demonstrating that you're trying to understand what it is that they're saying, I'm very confident that in that conversation they're going to be a lot more amicable or amiable to like that dialogue. And then if there's some kind of thing in there that you find that there is some alternative facts that work, then being able to engage them with specific questions can help as well. Like, what made you go with this angle? Like, can you elaborate or
Mm.
expand on this angle? Because again, as much as we might think that somebody on the next side or on like something that's like against us is bogus,
Hmm.
more often than not ain't bogus. It's just another side that we personally don't really care for, and it inhibits us from appreciating the very existence of that information. So being able to ask like clarifying or specific questions to enable them to elaborate and even ask it against what it is that you might what it is you might prefer, it'll help you to get a better understanding. If somebody painting a house blue and I like red, I ain't gonna be like, man, why you should have painted that red, or like it'd have been like, no, what made you go with blue? Like
Hmm.
like I never really thought about blue combining well with this color. I would have more so thought something with like red would have went better with this color, and then that's their opportunity to expand and for
Hmm.
you to absorb and better capture what it is that I'm talking about.
So it really doubles down on the fact that no question is a dumb question.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. You're in
No.
agreement. You're not saying no, that it's
Yeah,
not dumb
no, no,
question.
no, no question. No
Okay.
question is a dumb question.
Okay. Yeah, nah, because as I said, like I'm almost certain there's a lot of people that face those type of feats on a daily basis. And at first I was like, man, that's a circular argument. I think you dodging my question. But then when you circle back and you came around and you said, well, you know, asking the question as to why did they take that stance, or why are they, and not why, but you know, what's your angle here? Because why is also a triggering word from what I've
Yeah,
understood. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It definitely can, because why is like more philosophical and existential as
Hold
opposed
up,
to like
hold up, hold up. Layman's terms,
So
break that
like
down.
so like when you think of like who, right? Who is like a person?
Got you.
What is like identification of a thing?
This man taking us back to English.
Where,
KJ.
yeah, no, but for real, like where, location,
Mm-hmm.
how, instruction, and
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to why is more like purpose. And purpose is more deeply linked to like our individual sense of like meaning. It's a lot more emotionally connected than those other questions. And
Okay.
so when we give out like a rationale of something, especially if it's something, the more strongly we feel about it, the more likely we might react negatively to why. Because asking why is almost the same as questioning them as a person. And
Mm.
so being asking um what in a different way can help. So like, instead of like why would you think that, it might be like what made you arrive at that,
Mm.
or like what were the factors that contributed to you reaching to this point, like something to that effect.
Yeah. 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 Like, what was your perspective on that angle and what's not? So wait, explain to
Like
me a
what
little
made
bit
you
more.
come up with that?
Yeah, explain to me a little bit more. Why is why it should be a very genuine question, and it seemed like it's been demonized as well.
Mm. I don't know if I would say like it's been like demonized. That's just like a common reaction that like people might tend to have. Like it's just something that's kind of like a common cause and effect in that like people, I guess, been like, oh yeah, let me ask why so that I could like judge this person or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's just some of the just some of the common consequences that a lot of people can like tend to experience
Mm.
across time, place, or situation. Like like even within any one person, sometimes depending on the topic that you're talking about or even your state of mind, sometimes you can very well accept when somebody asks you why about something, and then other times probably not. You know what I mean? Like you might be out with your youth running, playing baseball, and you in a training thing, and like
Mm-hmm.
you telling them something, and they ask why. You in a teaching situation, and like they want to absorb more information, and you happy to think that.
Yeah,
But if
that's
you
how
trying to
I
put them to
operate.
bed, yeah. But if you try
Oh,
and put them to bed,
oh,
and you're like, hey, it's time to go to bed now, and you tired, and they talking about why, not the same
let's go
circumstance.
to bed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, good
Yeah, check
job,
it.
man, Kefren. Good job, man, Kefren.
So
Good
it's
job,
it's
man.
different, yeah. So in both of those situations,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's the same why, but like different scenarios or
Scenarios.
circumstances will elicit different feelings. You know.
Wow.
Most
Wow, wow,
Apparently,
wow.
we do
definitely.
have some questions in the chat though.
On the YouTube side.
I see some stuff here on Facebook then.
No, man, my
Seen it on
Facebook
Facebook,
slump.
we ain't seen nothing.
All right. This is my session. You know, this is my time. I want to big up my boy Pencil for being in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even there to catch my boy Pencil. I want to big up my wife, you know what I'm saying, for being there, you know what I'm saying, supporting. Yeah, 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 yeah. Big
Yeah.
up my big cousin, you know what I mean? My boy Jaleel for being there. We get Deshaun Webb back here with us once again. Want to say thanks for being here. You always give great, insights as well. You seem like you don't understand your boy Kev. You know what I'm saying? We there. We get big
Hey
Mrs.
boy.
Sack inside of the place to be, you know what I'm saying? Done here with us and what's not. I always been here from the start to the stop. Then we get Dante in the place to be. That's our brother from another mother, you know what I'm saying? I love Dante, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate you being here with us, you know what I mean? Sharing the live and coming through and, to refresh the chat because you guys were heavily active in here, especially my guy Deshaun. So I want to ask a question that he have actually. I think it's a very insightful one. He says, how do you navigate this practice through text messages. Wow, my guy Webb with the cha-ching. Sometimes I read someone's text and wonder if they read it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Man, help me out, cause you think,
That needs
help
some.
me out with that one.
That needs some.
That need some snaps. That need some snaps, man. Deshaun Webb. Hey, you gonna be our number one supporter. I could tell. You to come in here and you to just all
But I want to know
right, my
why.
boy Deshaun Webb.
Well,
Go ahead, Deshaun.
that's definitely a great question because for one thing, like I am very partial to either taking it on the phone so that you can actually enact more of them thing, or at the very least, voice notes. You check like doing performing like active listening through text messages, like texting itself is one of those things where like a lot of those other elements of listening that I haven't even talked about here, to be honest with you, and I probably should have, are absent. So Johan say you do communications in UVA, and so I
Okay.
know for sure that you saw that thing where like them and they say communication is composed of like what 55% body language,
Yup.
38% tone, and
Yup.
7% words.
Yup.
And so with texting, it's pretty much all words. You take away the
Hey,
body language.
Kev, what the fuck? Like, why your numbers were so accurate, dog? I just think back about this, dog. Like, your percentages were so accurate, dog. What the fuck you into,
All
dog?
I gotta say is wow,
I had the
with a lot of
classes.
W's.
I had the
Wow.
But
classes.
I had to sit and think for a second. My bad, man. I don't want to take away your train of thought. Keep going, man. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
dog.
So yeah, like all of that there is like the body language is taken out entirely. The tone, you can only kind of discern it, maybe, but that's based off of your interpretations again, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all words. And so my first and foremost advice to Deshaun in that question is any kind of long conversation you have with that, I would take it to the phone, my son. I'll take it to the phone, take it in person or
Mm-hmm.
wherever. To be honest, the last time I could even remember talking deeply, elaborately in text, where like paragraphs and them stuff, is
Mm-hmm.
probably like when we were like in high school and them thing, you check.
Yeah.
But in the event, like I really and truly, I think you could still do it. You know what I mean? Like, because if you don't believe that them man read whatever themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely could still seek to like paraphrase. It's just like saying whatever it is that they said in a different way. We used to do that all the time in school, in fact, to avoid what a plagiarism thing, safe assign. We used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So if we were able to do that day in whole essays, I
Mm-hmm.
know that you could do that day in a text message that ain't as long. You check what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if push comes to shove with that, absolutely do the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
my primary thing is to absolutely work up to reinstating those forms of communication, especially if it's like a situation where like the person really need like your ear or something. Yeah, check. They need your ear, not your fingers.
Got you. So now I got a next question from my lovely, beautiful wife, Charlotte Henley, and it's more like a clarification. So she's trying to understand. So you're not saying to detach from the advice. This goes back to, I guess, that area of advice, and it has to do with being unbiased and non-judgmental. So you're not saying to detach from the advice, but you should listen without judgment before giving the advice so it's without bias.
Uh, not necessarily the advice without like bias, but like I am encouraging us to shift away from leading with wanting to like give advice
Hmm.
in the first place. Like that shouldn't be like your first like instinct, or well, not first instinct, but that shouldn't be like your main plan of action.
Yeah.
Because like when thinking about like advice, like is really like you essentially giving somebody something within 5 minutes that this person has probably been wrestling with for days, years, probably. And that low key is insulting when you really think about it, dog. Like when you talking with somebody on average and like you motion to provide some kind of solution immediately, like
Hmm.
what genuinely makes you think that out of the 10 people that you tell that to, that zero of them have thought about what it is that you were able to like generate in like a couple of seconds, you check. So like that's like a part of that as well. So like when it comes to helping folks, like on the topic of helping folks, it is a
Hmm.
lot more impactful to help from an emotional standpoint than it is from a logical standpoint. And when I say logical standpoint, I mean like in terms of like sitting and brainstorming with them solutions and them stuff. Like it's a lot more impactful to help them from that emotional standpoint because that is really where much of the problems are housed. Not so
Yeah.
much the problem itself. The problem is still there for sure, but what how they feel about the problem, how they're thinking about themselves in relation to this problem. All of that is things that you can do, that everybody can do through active listening, validation, through showing that you are acknowledging and understanding what they're saying, not giving attention, not agreeing with them or anything like that. Just
Hmm.
showcasing that you understand that you have heard them, that they are being well listened to. That provides more relief and overarching solution
Yeah.
than actually like going over like, yeah, let's do this logically or whatnot. And like again, that's something that anybody could do. That's
Hmm.
why I like even for me, like when I helping people, whatever situation it is that bothering the person, it's honestly why I feel pretty confident about any impact that I could make because I'm already coming into it knowing that I don't know. I'm not the expert on what it is that like you going through, and I don't have to be. I
Yeah.
don't have to come up with something out my ass in order to like help you and contribute. I can see that this thing is a puzzle piece that you fixing together. But what I can also see is that your personal affect, your personal like attitude, your feelings about this thing is in some sort of jeopardy.
Yeah.
And as a fellow human, I can do something about that.
Hmm. So let me read
So
off
to answer
something.
Dante's question, actually, because he sorry to him say, but he did ask.
Yeah, I was
It
just
takes
about
a
to
good
say
amount
Dante.
of empathy
Yeah,
to
that's the
detach from
exact
that.
same thing I was about to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it absolutely does. That's actually one of the skills that you're building with the practice of suspending the effects of your thoughts and feelings from causing to like interrupt or dismiss what a person is saying. Like all of that is part of building empathy, which is a key skill in the dimension of emotional intelligence. It's a key
Yeah,
part of
that's where
emotional
I stop
intelligence.
right there. That's the part that'll be like, yep.
You can get no
Yeah.
empathy.
Kids, you don't have no
It's
empathy.
a
Trust
But
and the feeling
it's a
behind it,
skill that
right?
anybody could build. That ain't something that like I know a lot of people love to like say like yeah I'm a natural empath and those things are definitely true for sure.
hmm
Where some people are more both interested in that and more skilled in that than others. But the key thing is that it is a skill. It is something that anybody can build. You
yeah,
can always work towards improving that. There's always measurable ways to scale it upward.
yeah,
And as long as you can hone into that, then there will always be ways to improve. That's why my challenge to everyone is whatever number that's comfortable to you,
hmm
practice actively listening to somebody, the man. Say whatever number that is for you. Like I can paraphrase one person. And then even within that one person, you can determine how long you want to do it. I can paraphrase this person for 5 seconds, or I can do it for one sentence. You can choose and quantify where you want to like build this thing up,
yeah. To practice.
you know?
Hmm.
You can make it tangible in any which way or form. It's a skill,
Could you
and you can
okay,
build it.
okay, going based like say you just say one sentence, right? Wouldn't they feel like you just how people would be like, so that's all you hear? Even if you're
Oh,
paraphrasing it.
shit, KG. Good shit.
That
Very
is a
good.
very, very, very good point. For sure. For sure. For
How
sure. For sure.
how do we walk past
Then I guess you gotta say more than one sentence or something.
that?
I guess you
My
gotta
boy
say
say,
more than
hey,
one
listen.
sentence.
My
Yeah.
boy say, I can't do this for you. I can't do this for all you. Listen to me. You gotta use the tool, rinse, repeat, use the tool as much as possible, as quantifiable as possible. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Dahlia George, you inside of the party with us. We want to say thanks for stopping by. I get my live update now, so my thing walking like a, you know what I'm saying, like a well-oiled engine. We want to say hail up to Dahlia George. Deshaun Webb, my boy looking for a one-on-one, Kefi. My boy looking for the one-on-one coaching. That's the first. That would be the first individual, and that's one of the main reasons why we set out on this endeavor. Because myself had one-on-one coachings with Kev in probably some of the most detrimental times that I could have been personally aware of for the first time. You know, everybody have been through bad times, but when you actually aware that you're in a tough time, that's when it's even more. Uh, it creates even more pressure, more stress. And my guy was able to help me out a lot, clear up a lot of thoughts, help me sift through a lot of the smoke and the hevel that may have been in front of me, so I could have seen a lot better. Help me create that interpersonal skills to start to apply these skills towards my life in many different ways and in many different facets. So I urge you guys, man, like not just because this is my friend, but because you don't find people who actively take their time to get to know you and help you in an effective way, and then help you really help you. Like send your ass home to do homework type of help you. Like send your ass like off the phone, like, yo, you need to do your exercises and you need to write. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of these like if I had went to in my opinion, if I went to a therapist, I don't think that therapist would have been able to connect with me. Simply because I think I would have been able to fool the therapist. I think I would have been able to put on a facade of whatever sorts and been able to, distract or distraught or not display my true emotions and my true intentions. And because that's my guy and he know me, you know what I'm saying? And he's seen me in action and he's seen the guy inside, he knows. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a great journey in terms of just traversing my own interpersonal and interpersonal skills and development, and taking them on my own, as well as whenever I feel a little stuck on something, coming to him and helping him out. I mean, and him helping me out. So Deshaun Webb, yeah, my guy, I urge you to step in to the room with the man mind hack, and just know he gonna take care of you. You're gonna be safe. You know what I'm saying? And I so confident in this, my guy. If you step into the room and you step into a coaching session with Kefren, wherever he charge, I gonna pay. Wherever he charge, I gonna pay. And that's strictly sponsored from your Hunter Web Design. You know your man is always a plug. That is the biggest plug out here. So that would be
Yes,
strictly
sir.
a sponsor from your Hunter Web Design. Check out my, my business as well, your
Yes,
hunterhenley.com.
sir.
Go check it out. I have some bad websites and I get more coming. You know what I'm saying? Marketing gonna be out the wahoo. Check KJ Design for any graphic needs. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming at all. Check your boy. This is your boy KJ, you know what I'm saying? KJ Design, you know what I'm saying? Running on the ones and twos with the VJ, which is your visual DJ, you know what I'm saying? Giving you all the graphics you need, everything you seen here, the movement, the transitions, everything you thinking, even the audio you thinking my guy just here. You wondering why KJ even here? Well, this is why my boy here, because my boy was sliding, slide out. You know what I'm saying? Girls right up there. All the graphics you seeing right now, you know what I'm saying? The flyers you seen getting put out done by KJ Design. So if you need some assistance in the graphic design world too as well, none other than KJ Design, kjdesign.com. You could check out his website. You know what I mean? Man's banging. You could check out KSAC. You know what I'm saying? Kisaki.com as well. You know what I'm saying? Everything is on a walk, everything is on the move. But Deshaun Webb, like I say, you sign up for that coaching session, wherever he charge, I gonna pay. Thank you for being a support to us and a support to all boy Kefren, because he has a lot of knowledge to share, you know what I'm saying, with the Facebook family and with everybody around. And I think even a couple other people inside of this chat I could attest that he's a he's a gem. You know what I'm saying? We gotta
Much
make
appreciated,
sure.
man.
Yeah, for sure, big dog, for sure. I'll never downplay that fact about you. It's one thing I could say. Like I said, man, I could, I ain't afraid to tell that story, but I've been in one of the roughest times mentally, like mentally and emotionally, like mentally unstable, and you were able to really, really, really get your boy back on some good grounds and some good feet in one of the most pivotal parts of my life. Talking about not even being home, being away from everybody, being in a strange place, moving to Arizona and then still, moving so mentally unfit for the most part, not even, understanding next steps, movements, how to feel. Like I just had so much in that time and period of my life, and you were able to help me out. Truly appreciate you, Big Dad. Real talk.
Yeah, man. You don't know, man. It's time. It's time. And shout out to Deshaun too, dog. Like, I hear chuckling because, like, even though, like, as you saying all of this stuff, right? I live. I had a talk with Deshaun every other Friday. You know?
Ah,
Me and
okay.
this man,
That's
me
why.
and this man, the talk like every other Friday. It'll be like more like a casual thing nowadays, but like, no, same ways. Anytime you want to chop it up about something specific, I am there. You check it out, you know. So,
Well, we need to invite Deshaun to the next session, man. I think we should extend that. I think he's been
oh
extremely
yeah, for
active
sure.
in the chat. You know what I'm saying? And my guy
Yeah,
KJ, the man, the VJ, I'm pretty sure he could get that walked in and he could get that extended to you, Deshaun. So if you're here and you're on the live still, or even if you're in on the live, just know we're pulling you up, we're calling you out. We want you here with us to chat in the next episode if you have the time and if
yeah,
Kefren
man.
allow it, of course. And
Yeah,
yeah, man.
man. Deshaun is a podcast hoster himself. You know, the
Yeah.
one podcast
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
on, come true,
Wanna be
come true,
Oh
with tough
yeah.
with tough them.
podcast.
With
Yeah,
Taff,
yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Big
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Taff.
yeah.
That
Big
that's
Taff.
the one.
All right.
Ebb.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay,
You
okay,
know what I
okay,
mean?
okay, okay.
So
He's a cruise man as a rock man, so I ain't really, I ain't voicing, all of the government names. You check.
you
But
good.
but yeah, I know
Yeah, that's
now that
the
you
same
say it.
guy.
Now that you say it, I know
Yeah,
him.
bro.
I like his vibe. His stance is kind of
Yeah.
like my stance, like very like
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
very,
Yes.
very, very him. And it's like it's not like a afraid type of vibe. So I like that. And then he
Yeah.
still he still know how to keep it, professional at the same time. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You know what I'm saying? Not saying we's anything big, Deshaun, because we know you running a route. Yeah, I'm saying. But we here in our little niche corner, and we think you could, if you want to visit, come, guess
Yeah, man.
the show and talk with us, man. We get some good topics coming up. I think this should be the second of 12. So we have 10 more episodes to go for the first season. Hope you guys stick around with us longer and stick around with us for the entirety of it because we're about to run this thing all the way through. And I want to say that episode 11 or episode 10, either one of those episodes I am looking forward to. And I hope all these women gonna be
Oh my
here.
gosh.
I hope these is it getting to a point where I might have to let KJ reconfigure the way how he about to launch that episode, and he gonna launch it on my platform. He gonna launch it on my name because I want them in here because I know for a fact Kefren coming to defend the women, and I coming to last strong with the masculinity. Just
We
saying.
will we will stick around so you could actually see how that topic unfolds.
Yeah, stick
Okay.
around, stick around, stick around. So thank you guys
Uh,
for being here with us. We'll see you guys on the
yeah,
next
man.
episode.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.
still us. Why are you still alive?
I don't know he was gonna do that. That's why me say nothing. I say, kid, this a nasty man. He gonna act like we live and then we gonna start talking. Yeah, man, kept. That was a bad episode, but me and them